welcome to Mind Your Business, the channel where we are in at everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. So it's been an interesting week for Married at First Sight. We've had new couples and we've had the dinner party. And of course, there was a lot of drama at this dinner party. So let's get into it, people. Well, I'm going to put my Chrissy crew. Let's talk about Married at First Sight Australia. So this week we saw 3 new couples join. And so I'm interested to get into those, you know, as the time goes on. We had weddings of Michael and Stephen. We saw Madeline and Ash. And I'm just definitely side-eyeing Madeline and Ash because I'm feeling like this poor Ash, he's just forever confused. I just feel so bad for him. Every time they cut to him, he's just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. It's just cracking me up. You've got Ridge as well. Ridge and Jade, right? They seem quite cute. At first, and his wedding with his whole D's thing, I was a bit like, oh Lord, this guy is going to be ridiculous. But I feel like they get along actually. So I'm interested to see how they all progress. But anyway, so we saw those. We also saw Cassandra have some troubles with Tristan. Those two struggled a bit this week. And then we saw the expert John Aiken go and give them some advice about how to kind of, you know, build a bit more on their connection. And they seem like they're doing well. Now, you fast forward to Thursday and we've got the dinner party that we all like to anticipate and see what's going to happen there. And this week was interesting because Lauren let us know that there's a rumour going around. And as soon as I heard there's a rumour about somebody, I just thought it has to be Jack. It just has to be Jack. And lo and behold, yes, it was Jack. And the rumour was that Jack has been telling the guys, which we know because we've been watching the show, he isn't sexually attracted to Tori. But he apparently said to Jono, or to Jonathan, as she calls him Jono, that basically, you know, when it comes to wife swap week, if any of the husbands want to sleep with Tori, they can because he's basically not going to. At that point, you know, if he hasn't slept with her by then they can sleep with her because he's not really sexually attracted to her. That was supposed to be the joke that he told Jonathan, who came back and told Lauren. So, of course, Lauren is mortified by it and saying that she wants to call him out. But it didn't really go to plan. You know, at the dinner party, you know, she does take Tori aside. She lets Sarah know first and she lets Eden know, and, you know, they take Tori aside and she talks to Tori about it. But Tori, you can tell she looks like she's stunned and very upset by it. But then she decides to still be a deer in headlights and just go along with whatever Jack says, because at the table, Jack tries to call Lauren out and say, well, what do you say to my wife? And, you know, Lauren kind of throws it back at him and is like, well, don't come at me like that. And, you know, they get into a bit of a to and fro. At the end of the day, it comes out. Sarah says it and Lauren says it as well and says that, you know, Jonathan told her. But mind you, she did say to Jonathan in the car that she's going to out this. She's going to definitely want to talk about this because she's upset about it from a Tori perspective. And she said to him, I'm going to need you to back me up. He in the car said, yes, he'll back her up. So when she's actually been put on the spot and she's actually saying, yes, well, Jonathan did tell me what you said to him about Tori, Jonathan's not backing her up. I'm like, Jonathan, sort it out. He's just sitting there looking really awkward. It was giving me very much like Jack's the bully type. And he's like looking at Jono to say, well, what did I say? Did I say she was attractive? What did I say to you? What did I say to you? It was almost like Jonathan was just like lost his spine, lost any type of his balls, like nothing was there. And he was just sitting there squirming. I'm just like, Jonathan, open your mouth and say you told her. Because where else did she get this information from? So basically the way it went down, whilst we know as the viewers that, you know, Jack is full of crap and he has said these things, he's basically trying to deny it. And others were there. I'm like, well, hold on. He said that in that session with Alexandra. And so, you know, they do cut to Tim saying, yes, he did say it, but he said it in his confessional part. We don't hear him say it at the table. Now, that surprised me because I'm like, no one can really shut Timothy up half the time, as in Lucinda to Timothy. No one can shut him up. So I'm like, come on, Timothy, this is your time now. This is your time. Open your mouth and say, yes, you definitely did say that. I was there. We said it in front of all the guys. All the guys were silent. And it made no sense to me. I'm like, this is a time to hold him accountable. Instead, it's making Lauren look like she's some crazy person just making up stories about her, about Tori and Jack. And that's not the case. So I felt like Jack was really disrespectful when he was going back and forth with her. He used the actual term, muzzle your woman, which is bang out of order. Jonathan should have definitely went off on him about that. There's no way he should have allowed that to happen. Obviously, Lauren's got her own mouth, so she definitely was pushing back on it and was very shocked and disrespected by that. But Tori was even more disgusting because she's sitting there holding onto his hands. I don't know if that was editing or not, but I didn't see her pipe up and say anything when he said this. I'm just like, so this guy is very controlling. He's being disrespectful to women in front of you, and you're just sitting there holding onto his hands. And then when, you know, the whole thing about being attractive, you know, has come up, she's gone all quiet. He's just turned it into, oh, well, it's banter. Me and her have this banter. It's only banter. I'd say it in front of her. And wouldn't I? So he spun it on her. She's sitting there like, well, yeah, it is banter. It's fine. I'm just like, you look stupid. You sound stupid. I want to feel bad for you. There's a part of me that doesn't, because it's just like, you can see it. I can see in your face that something's not sitting right with you. It's not clicking in your head. You can see you're sitting at the table feeling very uncomfortable. But instead of you just sitting in your crap and thinking, you know what, he has been a bit of an idiot. And even if he did say that, and he was joking, it's not funny. You should have just called him out on it. But no, you just want to be pandering to him. So he's got you under so much control that you'll just do whatever he says, to the point where now you're switching on your friend who is trying to look out for you. Now, once I get it is Married at First Sight, it's about connecting with the husbands, and we get that. But I do feel like Lauren was genuinely trying to look out for Tori, and she ended up looking like the idiot, like she's trying to cause trouble, because her man, Jonathan, didn't stand up for her. And then her friend is basically saying, you know, mind your business, or why not send me a text? I get that sending me a text thing or not bringing it out across the table. I get it, but she did tell you beforehand. But this is what the experiment is like, right? It's supposed to be bringing things up to the forefront. But I was very disappointed in the men at that table, particularly Jonathan. He seemed very spineless, very cowardly, and you just left your wife out there to dry. And I love the way she ended it by saying, well, look, who's going to be sucking you off at the end of the night? It certainly ain't going to be your boy. So he should be definitely back in the right team, which is his wife. So that's really disappointing. And I hope that the experts really get into his backside about that, because that was really sad to see. And I just thought to myself, okay, now I can see Lauren's issue with you about you just not really speaking up, because that would piss me right off. There's no way. You know, that's supposed to be your husband, and he cannot even defend his own wife in a situation where his, you know, so-called friend is saying, muzzle your wife, and shouting at your wife and being really highly disrespectful. And Tori, I mean, the fact that he can speak to another woman like that, why are you sitting there comfortably holding his hand? That should be a massive red flag. I mean, he's shown quite a few gigantic flags that you keep ignoring, but she's so into him and blinded by it. She's given very much Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder out here. Like, she cannot see anything when it comes to this man. It's just very disappointing. And you've got, you know, Sarah and Lauren, you know, with a big red flag, just like, here, look, pointing at Jack. And yeah, she doesn't want to see it. But Jonathan, yeah, highly disappointed. Tim, I don't understand what's going on. Tim, he talks when he's not supposed to talk. He's saying the most inappropriate things half the time. I'm like, okay, be on your best behaviour for Lucinda. But in this case, like, pull him up on his shit. You were there. You were having him up at the last dinner party. Unless they edited it out, and we didn't, and he did say it. Maybe they edited it out, we just don't know. But that part really surprised me. But yeah, I wasn't necessarily impressed with Jack, but I think he's a twat. I've been saying that from the get-go. I don't think it should be an experiment talking to people like that. They should really, you know, eject him, because I just don't feel like he's genuine. So yeah, that was really disappointing. As for the poor newbies, they were just looking like, what the hell is going on? This is chaos. So welcome to the party, newbies. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more around the newbies and how they're getting on. But what I thought was quite a nice moment, actually, was seeing Tristan talk to Tim and seeing Tim have that real vulnerable moment and opening up about, you know, a lot of the scars that he's got are, you know, from people who, like, he's lost in his life. And then when he spoke about, you know, was he losing his mum and his brother and his dad, and his dad was definitely the nail in the coffin by saying that, you know, he didn't like him. I just felt like that was so horrible. Like, to be left with that parting gift saying that he doesn't like him is really like a dagger to the heart. So I felt bad for him in that moment, and it made sense to why he's so sort of guarded and come across a bit emotionally unavailable, because that was a really cruel thing that his dad did to him, like really cruel. And so yeah, I hope to see that he keeps opening up these sort of layers and we see him kind of flourish with Lucinda, hopefully. But I thought it was quite nice that him and Tristan had that little relationship. I think they seem like, you know, it's quite cute. Tristan calls him dad, which I think is quite funny. But I think because Tristan is such a nice character, he is definitely helping Tim to open up in a different way. But yeah, I wasn't impressed with the whole thing, the way it went down. Well done to Lauren for calling it out, and Sarah. And I like that Sarah called Lauren towards the end and said, look, you know, Tori's just going to listen to what Jack's doing. So, you know, you're trying to be a friend, but, you know, she's not taking it on. So what can you do? But I really didn't like that Tori really tried to spin it on... Well, both of them did, really. You've got Jack blatantly trying to spin it onto Lauren and blaming it on her, while, you know, she's just this meddling wife trying to get in between them. And then you've got Tori, who's also blaming her now, saying you're supposed to be my friend and now you're thrown under the bus. So it was just like, wow, she was actually trying to look out for you. So I felt bad for Lauren in that situation. And even more so the fact that Jonathan didn't back her up. So that was really disappointing. But what do you guys think of the episode? What do you think of Jack? Jack the twat. What do you think of him? I feel like he's really disrespectful. He's very sexist. He's got issues with women, and he gives very much bully vibes, even the way he was talking to Jonathan. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of his at all. But, of course, it's a bit of drama, but it'd be interesting to see how the experts deal with him next week. What did you guys think of it anyway? Were you entertained? Who do you like out of the new couples? Are you also concerned for Ash, as I am, because Madeleine looks like she is a lot to deal with. And the new couples otherwise seem like they're quite sweet. So we shall see how it all pans out. Now, people, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts below. Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.